in the heart of a forgotten French forest, where moonlight dared not pierce the tangled canopy and gnarled branches clawed at the inky sky, resided a creature of fable and folklore, the Lutin. Unlike the whimsical sprites of children's stories, the Lutin was a being of twilight, his amusement born not from innocent pranks, but from the delicious sting of human terror. A master of metamorphosis, he could morph from a wisp of smoke to a wizened crone, his true form as elusive as the smoke itself. Tonight his target was a young woodcutter named Remy, a man whose life was as simple and predictable as the rhythmic rise and fall of his axe. Remy, returning from a long day of felling timber, whistled a cheerful tune, the only sound that dared to break the oppressive silence. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream shattered the stillness. It was a woman's voice, laced with raw panic, echoing from the depths of the woods. Remy, ever the gallant soul, wouldn't hesitate to help a damsel in distress. He veered off the path, axe clutched tightly in his hand, the forest floor muffling his heavy boots. The screams grew louder, more desperate, pulling him deeper into the labyrinthine woods. As Remy pushed through a thicket of thorns, he stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an unnatural, sickly green luminescence. In the center stood a woman, her once vibrant dress now tattered and blood-stained, her unbound hair whipping around her face as she sobbed hysterically. Her eyes, wide with terror, darted towards Remy, a beacon of hope in the oppressive darkness. "Help me," she shrieked, her voice ragged. "He's coming for me. Please, you have to save me." Remy's heart hammered against his ribs. He knew the stories whispered around crackling fires of the Lutin, the trickster who reveled in human misery. But the woman's terror was so genuine, her pleas so heartfelt, that Remy couldn't turn away. Stepping forward, he offered her a reassuring smile, his voice firm despite the tremor in his gut. "Don't worry, mademoiselle," he said, his voice echoing in the unnatural silence. "I'll get you out of here." The woman clung to him, her sobs subsiding into a choked whimper. As Remy turned to leave, a voice, smooth as silk and laced with malice, slithered into the clearing. Such a touching display of chivalry, woodcutter, it purred. But perhaps a tad misplaced, wouldn't you say? Remy spun around, his grip tightening on his axe. The woman was gone, vanished like a wisp of smoke. In her place stood a figure shrouded in shadow, its form shifting and wavering like flames dancing in a draught. It was the Lutin. A cold dread seeped into Remy's bones. The moonlight, finally managing to pierce a gap in the canopy, revealed a face both beautiful and grotesque, a mask of amusement carved onto a canvas of decay. The Lutin's eyes, like embers glowing in the darkness, held Remy captive, a fly caught in a spider's web. The Lutin's smile widened, revealing pointed teeth that gleamed like polished bone. "Lost, are we, woodcutter?" he taunted, his voice dripping with false sympathy. "Perhaps I can help you find your way out." The forest itself seemed to twist and contort, the gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air grew thick with the stench of decay and mildew. Remy stumbled back, his bravado crumbling under the weight of the Lutin's oppressive aura. He knew he was trapped in a twisted game, a play with him as the unwitting pawn. The Lutin circled Remy, a predator savouring its prey. He spoke of ancient curses and vengeful spirits, each word a barbed arrow piercing Remy's already frayed sanity. The forest echoed with unearthly sounds, growls, hisses, whispers that seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves. Hours bled into one another, measured only by the gnawing terror in Remy's gut. The Lutin seemed to enjoy Remy's descent into madness, toying with him like a cat with a cornered mouse. Just as Remy was on the verge of collapse, the Lutin finally seemed to tire of his amusement. With a snap of his fingers, the clearing returned to its normal state. The oppressive green glow vanished, replaced by the soft luminescence of the moon. The unearthly sounds ceased, leaving an eerie silence in their wake. The Lutin was gone. Remy slumped against a tree, his body racked with sobs. He had no idea how long he had been trapped in the Lutin's nightmarish illusion, but the ordeal felt like an eternity. As dawn painted the sky with streaks of orange and pink, Remy stumbled back to the familiar path. The forest, once a place of solace, now seemed sinister, every rustle of leaves a potential threat. He reached the village, his haggard appearance causing a stir amongst the villagers. His tale of a damsel in distress and a malevolent spirit was met with a mix of skepticism and concern. The village elder, a wizened woman with eyes that held the wisdom of generations, listened intently. When Remy finished, she spoke in a low voice, her words heavy with meaning. "The Lutin," she said, "is a creature of darkness, a weaver of illusions. He feeds on fear, and those who encounter him are never quite the same." Remy spent the next few days in a daze. The horrors he'd witnessed in the clearing, though likely illusions, remained etched into his memory. Sleep offered no solace, filled with nightmares of the Lutin's mocking laughter and the chilling whispers of the forest. One night, a full moon bathed the village in an ethereal glow. As Remy tossed and turned in his bed, a faint tapping sound echoed from his window. He froze, his heart hammering against his ribs. The tapping became more insistent, accompanied by a voice, soft as a sigh, "Woodcutter, let me in." Panic threatened to consume him, but a flicker of defiance sparked within. He wouldn't be a victim again. Grabbing his axe, he crept towards the window. There, perched on the sill, was a raven, its obsidian eyes gleaming in the moonlight. It cawed once, a harsh sound that sent shivers down Remy's spine. Then, a single black feather drifted through the open window, landing at Remy's feet. It shimmered faintly, and as Remy reached down to pick it up, it transformed in his hand. No longer a feather, it was a small, intricately carved wooden bird. A carving Remy recognized all too well. It was a perfect replica of a small wooden bird he'd gifted to the woman in the clearing. A horrifying realization dawned on him. The woman, the screams, the clearing bathed in green light, it had all been an elaborate illusion, a meticulously crafted nightmare designed by the Lutin to break him. The raven, the Lutin's messenger, had delivered the final piece of the puzzle, a reminder of his power and Remy's vulnerability. Remy slumped against the wall, a cold sweat clinging to his skin. The Lutin had won this round, leaving him forever marked by the encounter. He knew the creature wouldn't stop here. The forest held a new kind of fear now, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked within its tangled depths. But something had changed in Remy too. The terror was laced with a newfound resolve. He wouldn't let the Lutin win. He would learn the creature's secrets, find a way to defend himself against its twisted illusions. The forest might hold nightmares, but Remy wouldn't be its victim, he would become its hunter.